Hi, I'm Jackie Creeley of Biofield Tuning Island, or as it is, remote Biofield Tuning Island at present. I want to talk really about the significance of biofield tuning. Now, I don't know if you've heard about biofield tuning. It's a system of tuning your biofield, that's your surrounding energy field, using tuning forks that have been specifically designed for biofield tuning. And I've been thinking about this whole topic and why I hold it so dear to my heart. And I'm going to try and explain why I believe biofield tuning is really significant in the whole healing field, or all the different modalities that you get these days on offer. And I just want to sort of talk in general about something called electromagnetic energies. We have a world in which it is filled with, in medieval times, what was called ether, and now we're coming back to that whole concept through scientific studies that it does exist. And in the ether there are electromagnetic waves, and there are weak ones, there are strong ones, and we use this a lot with our everyday living, with technology. And I want to really talk about how we work with it with the forks, because in the wider ether, there is this weak electromagnetic field. And then just surrounding our bodies, it becomes denser. And that's what we call our biofield. And hence we get the name biofield tuning. So when we take a tuning fork, it could be weighted or it could be non-weighted, and we place it within our biofield, which is about 6 feet around us. And then we draw it in along a timeline, starting with our birth, bringing it closer and closer to the present day, which is closer to our body. And as we do so, we're going to hear dissonance, we're going to hear or sense disturbances. And these are really traumas that got stuck in the biofield when we couldn't process emotions attached with some trauma. Could be minor, could be major. Now, I actually believe that the more we do this on ourselves, the more we remain really healthy with a really strong immune system. So it's not really just about, when we get sick, what do we take, what do we have recourse to, but for really maintaining our health. And I would even go as far as to say that in the future, medicine will move more towards vibrations and more towards looking at our electrical bodies, our electrical fields. So I want to go back to these forks, like they're moving through your energy field around you in your bubble, and they encounter things. And what the fork does is it inputs an electromagnetic wave or pulse on the spot where there is the disturbance. And this takes a while for the body to receive it. Not that long, but it takes a little while. And the body then responds and it adjusts automatically to the good vibration that's coming from the fork. And that's kind of a very simple explanation of how it works. It's actually introducing a positive electromagnetic charge into your field so that your body will receive that charge and respond. And anything that's not of that vibration, not of resonance, will actually leave. And rather than just letting it float in the ether, where it could actually come back again, we bring it in to our body where we integrate it. That's a really important step. And then we're actually able to column it out so that we have this really strong, clear flow going through our bodies. And you can actually regard us as like a torus, that the energy goes up and down our central channel, but it actually leaves our crown and leaves our feet in a sort of toroidal shape. It goes in this toroidal flow. And if you see it from above, it looks like a donut. Now, this is really interesting because even economics now are talking about donut economics, which is a new way of looking at how we live, how we operate economically, and how really we can revive our cities. And in the same way, we can revive our individual bodies. See what's happening now on the micro scale. The micro scale is also occurring on the macro scale. So if you even look at astrophysics, you see that physicists are talking about the torus being such an important shape in our universe. there's a little break here. I don't know why. Sorry about that. So, as a result of biofield tuning, you're going to feel lighter and yet also stronger, more resilient. And we want to go to looking at how we can care for ourselves long term, especially when there's going to be, I believe, more and more variants on this virus and perhaps more difficult things around the corner because of our disconnect from nature. So the electrical field, by taking care of that, we actually are cooperating again with the universal electromagnetic field. It's really important that we make that connection and we stay alive or we stay connected. It's a kind of natural flow that we want to get into. So, I want you to not think about illness, but think more in terms of sort of maintaining your good health, getting it to a certain level, and then just keeping it at that by periodic top-ups. And then most of the health problems you will find will just melt away. So I wanted to talk a bit about round towers, because I live within a mile of Ireland's round tower, the tallest one, Kilmacduagh, in South Galway. And again, Professor Callaghan in the 1970s, he's an entomologist, that's an insect specialist. He did studies on these round towers and discovered that they too were emitting weak electromagnetic charges, and that they were both storing and emitting them, which is really what our bodies do too. We emit it and we interact with our wider environment and we pull it in and we're influenced. And if we're not in balance, we're going to either be affected by or block off potential that's out there. So with the round towers in the surrounding countryside, they say that it actually improves the fertility of the soil because they emit these weak or diamagnetic charges into the soil, which improves the soil. And it brings in cosmic forces. And really, this is what we're doing with our bodies. When I do my introductory sessions online for these festivals, I actually work with the Earth star and the Sun star, which is correspondingly below our feet and above our heads, and I align them. I open them up I place them where they're ideally placed for a strong flow, and then I get that flow going, and then we can actually move on and do some real work. So in the session tomorrow morning, which I warmly welcome you to, is to come and have your we're going to do the third eye or the brow chakra about here, because that's in connection with bringing us into the present, because we're either thinking about the past or worrying about the future. So by tuning both sides of your third eye, we bring you into the now, and really then we bring you into a realization of what's possible. The more you are in the now and empty of energies you don't need, the more you are aligned with your potential. I've known from working for 4 years now what's happened to my clients when they get Biofield tuned, particularly if they have a series. They've been in difficult situations in work or in their relationships, and they've been able to really move on, feel lighter, feel more detached, and able even to totally change their lives. So I really recommend that you come to the group one on Sunday morning. So I think I'm just looking at my notes just to make sure I've covered everything here. Let's see now. I want to talk about dementia. I don't know if any of you have got aging parents, but I have a father who's nearly 90 years old, and for some years I helped him stay in his own home, etc. And we had to undergo quite a few kind of interviews with medical professionals that were diagnosing him, labelling him, so that he could get the services. And at one point I needed to prove that he still had some faculties left, that he was making decisions. And this is earlier on in the process, of course. So I knew he had an important meeting with the county psychiatrist. And before he went in, I invited him to have another tuning. He was enjoying them. He was getting them weekly from me and saying it made him feel relaxed. This was just great that he could register that, and he really didn't mind me doing it at all, even though he didn't really understand at all what I was doing. So I tuned him always on the brow chakra, which is what I'm going to do tomorrow. And then I actually eavesdropped eavesdropped outside the door of his interview because I was placed in this rather grotty corridor to wait. Oh, we've gone off again. I hope you can see me. I'm very sorry. Internet's a bit intermittent. Hi. So there was a bit of an intermittence there in case you didn't see. Okay, so I listened and I was absolutely amazed at how he could retrieve memories all the way through his life, answer all the questions promptly and accurately. And that was much down to the tuning, because I was having a student staying in the house, a research student who was studying the elderly and their issues, and he knew my father very well, and he said it was amazing how my father came back and he was so on the ball, so able to interact with him that evening. The next day, or perhaps the following day, my father slipped back into his old ways. It was like he needed this constant tuning. But just imagine if you were prepared to do that, you wouldn't need all these drugs that have side effects. So I'm very happy and I know that some studies have been done according to the founder, Eileen McCusick, that says that people suffering from dementia they found that by treating the I'm sorry, I'm a bit stuttery today. By treating the microtubules in their brain, they actually were able to open up the memory field of those with dementia. And if you think about it, the memories are all around us, stored. Our emotionals, maybe our traumas block them, they're stored. And as we clear that field of energy, we are also clearing our memory field. It's another name for it. And then it affects the brain. And really, we don't know if dementia is caused by both changes in the brain and changes outside, or one or the other, but they definitely interact. And we know this from thousands and thousands of hours of biofield tuning. So I really do encourage healthy people to consider a biofield tuning too, because this really will help them navigate through what's still rather uncertain times. Okay, so that's my little chat for tomorrow. And if you have any questions, I'm called Jackie, and my email is jackie@remotebiofieldtuningireland.com. And I'll be very happy to answer them. And if you're very, very sick, then you had better ring me, because I would find it quite difficult to just answer an email about an illness. But if you have general questions about how it works or what's involved, just go to my website, remotebiofieldtuningireland.com, or email me. And thank you so much for listening, and really enjoy your day or your evening, as the case may be. And thanks for listening. Bye.